Hello everybody, welcome to your Photoshop challenge. My name is Wade Acuff, and all this week we have been creating ocean theme challenges for the hashtag Create Waves campaign. You can find more information about that in the description below. You'll also find links to join these challenges and also a link to our Discord at bit.ly/psdiscord. And today's starter file is postcard shaped, because we are working on postcards. Postcards from the deep. Let's read the prompt. Postcards from the deep. Use stock images and customize fonts to make postcards with oceanic views. So we are using stock images. They are from the hashtag Create Waves campaign toolkit that you can find in the link below. And Sam may be able to throw that into chat for you guys. What's up, chat? How is it going? So let's get started with that. I'm going to get rid of this immediately so that we can make room for some images here. Let's see, hide the nav. There we go. So let's grab some of these and drag them right on in. I'm going to name this one background. And then I'm going to grab another one. I'm going to name this foreground. Sort of foreground. You'll see. All right, so I want to scale this up, and by doing that, press the Control or Command T, and then you can just, if you want to manipulate where you're putting the transform pivot point, you can press Alt or Option. It'll bring up a little crosshair, and you can put that anywhere you want, and that will let you, swivel or pivot from that point. We just kind of want to make this big enough to fill the frame. So let's just do, oh, not that. Let's just do this. How about that? Okay, works for me, I think. I'm gonna move it over just slightly. And, okay, way too long doing this, but that's how this works. All right, press enter, now we're locked in. I want to add a little type to this because, how can we make a postcard without type? I do want you guys to start thinking about where your postcard destinations are going to be from, because I have something in mind for mine. Get to the type tool by pressing T, and I'm just going to go in and just press on the canvas. Click on the canvas. I want to change our font. First off, I did choose these fonts. If you are not familiar with the characters panel, let's do it from the characters panel. If you go to Window, Character, you have a little characters panel here. You can choose your fonts from this window, but you can also use these filters. These are all my Adobe fonts, and these fonts I'm using today are from the Adobe font collection. I've starred them, so I'm going to choose Bungee. That's the one I want for our big type. And I'm going to call this Surf. Let's see, my destination is going to be, let me make sure I want to change the color. You can do that here. I'm going to choose a bright orange, kind of a bright orange color, something in there. Click OK. It's kind of small, but I'm going to make a copy of this by pressing Alt or Option and just dragging this down below the layer, selecting V and the layer, and I'm just going to bring this down. And you can move it with the Move tool if you'd like. I'm going to change this to Side. So now we have Surf Side. I'm going to change the positioning of this just slightly. I'm going to grab both of them, press Control T, Control or Command T, and just, if you hold down Alt, it will scale it up proportionally. And you can see our pivot points here in the middle. Something like this. I don't quite like the feel of this because the tracking is a little wide for me. So selecting on the layer you want to edit, I'm going to come up in here into our tracking, go -75 for this. And this may be different for your font, whatever font you choose. This is just what I want for mine. So let's see. I think we're good there, but we have to have like a greeting. Right now it's not very polite. It just says Surfside. So I'm going to hide these just so I can use the type tool. Press T again on your keyboard. Now I want to select, well, we want Spumante, but we want the full Spumante regular plus shadow. That's what we want. And I'm going to go ahead, while I'm here, change the font color to white. And I'm going to make this say something. Double click greetings from, and you can see, well, I probably should space that. You can see that we're still using our tracking from our previous font selection. So I'm going to move this out to 0. Now I will say for this one, there are ligatures that I can turn on and off. Different variations in that. Make sure when you use your font, whatever you choose, sometimes there's a lot of fun options. So just take a look at it and see if, what fits for you. I want the little flourish at the end of the S and the M, so I'm turning that off. And then I'm going to just resize it by scaling it proportionally, moving it up here somewhere for now, and then turn our Surfside on. Okay, so we kind of have, there's kind of something going on here. I'm trying to make this look more like a vintage style postcard. So I do want to add a little bit of flavor to these font styles. And I'm going to do that with layer styles. So I'm going to hop in here. You know what, before we do that, why don't we introduce our other image? I'm going to make a copy of it. Then I'm going to make 2 copies of it. One I'm just saving for later. And these I'm going to clip to our type and turn them on. So now we can sort of see what's going on. We sort of have, you kind of see where this is headed at this point, but we need a little bit of separation. So that's why we're jumping into our layer styles. And I'm going to hop in here to Surf, go to our layer styles. I'm going to delete all of the hidden effects so we can start from scratch and go to stroke. I want mine to be up around 8. I do want my position to be inside. You can customize this whatever looks right for yours. It's just because my font is the one I chose. You could have completely different options that will work with yours. So it's not so much of a tutorial as it is like, hey, this is how I'm doing this for my specific case. I think a lot of times we get hung up on, hey, this is how they did it, this is how we should do it. Not necessarily. It's just how I'm doing it. So feel free to explore that. I'm actually going to add another layer style, an inner shadow. I'm going to immediately, because I know where I want to take this, I'm going to take this to a linear light. And I want to kind of add a shadow from here that looks more like a burn than a shadow. Let's see, something like that. Maybe somewhere in this. And then I am gonna make the size a little bit softer. There we go. Now I'm starting to get what I'm looking for. It's probably a little too soft and a little too far out. Somewhere in there. Just so there's a little bit of a cutout look to this. Okay, good for now. We can always come back in there and edit that if we want to. But you can grab all the effects we made for our surf type and you can press Alt or Option and drag them down to our side type. So now we've got something. It's starting to shape up. It's starting to look okay. But we want to add a shadow to this to give it that kind of vintage look, vintage feel. But I'm still I think we can bump the image up a little bit within our surf side. In fact, I think I'm going to change some of the alignment. I'm just going to push side up slightly. Okay. But I want to jump in here, and I do want some of that original, possibly. I want some of that original type color to come through. So I'm going to add a mask to our foreground image that's on top of surf. Come up to our brush tools. I think I'm already selected on a soft round, and paint with black to kind of reveal what's behind there. Give it a little bit of bump on there. And I'm going to do the same thing. Let me hide this color. Wow. There we go. Now you can see the layers. Come down here to our foreground, add a mask to that. Do the same thing here. Just want some of that color kind of coming through. But another thing we can do to this, on top of that, add another layer. Clip this. You can make a clipping mask by holding Alt or Option and hovering between the two layers, and it will clip. And I'm going to change this layer over to color dodge. And now I want to select something really kind of saturated, warm, I think, somewhere in there. And let's see if this is going to work for us. Yeah, we're going to burn this a little bit. It's going to bring a little bit of warmth into our side here. And I'm going to do the same thing for surf. So we're going to come back, oops, not a mask, a new layer, clip it, change blending mode to color dodge. And then I think I want maybe a little more in the red, because I kind of want some pinks kind of coming through on this side. Something like that. Okay, so looking good there, I think. So now we can select all of it. And you probably guessed where this is going. We're going to make this, convert all of this into a smart object. I think I missed something there. Oh, I missed side. There we go. Got to have the whole thing. All right, convert all of these into a smart object. Okay, cool. Now we have a smart object. We can still manipulate the type. We can do adjustments, anything we want within this. If we want to hop in here, let's see, cancel. Okay, yeah, okay. I think we're okay. Oh no. Well, wow. I think I closed out an image, but we're okay. We're still where we were. We've added a shadow here. I got lost in my layers up top. Sorry about that. Let's back this up. Let's take this down to drop these shadows off. Okay, I think we're back where we were. Close. We changed a few things, but hang tight. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm sure the replay will tell us. Wait, did I turn off the layers? Let me see here. Why do we have a drop? Wow, technical difficulties here. Where's the drop shadow coming from? Can anyone tell me? Oh, it's still there. Okay, now close that out. Say yes. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, have you saved this? Not yet. That's okay though. We're moving along. We're gonna make this work. Okay. Did we add anything? Okay. Yes, we have this. We have our. The only thing we did on this version was swipe out. So yes, let's wipe this and think that, okay, this is where we left off. Woo! Okay, so now let's add our shadow to this through our layer styles, adding a shadow. We're going to change the distance of it quite a bit. And then we want to be able to see it, because this is where we start to get that kind of vintage look, vintage feel. We're going to add the distance here. I do want to make this a blue image, blue shadow, something like this. I think that's looking all right. Let's see. Yeah, okay. good to go there. So let's jump into how we're going to make the kind of wave effect for this. And this is what gets kind of interesting. I think this is where we start taking this to the sort of the next level. We're going to go into the warp zone. If you press Control T, it's going to give you our transform tool where you can move and manipulate things. And then, you know, something like this could be cool. You can grab these handles, move this around, you know, make a lot of changes that, you know, really not bad, pretty cool in general. But let's take this to the warp zone. Up here, you'll go into different warp modes, and you'll see a grid immediately placed over your smart object. And you can, you know, start changing this around, make effects to, you know, change the shapes, grab the warp grid, move from anywhere in the grid if you want. We don't want to do that, but I will walk you through this real quick, just because these are some things that can kind of either help you out or make sure that you're warping the way you want to warp. At any point, you can press Control or Command and start adding more grid, so that you have more areas of manipulation, tighter, denser areas. I don't want any of that. But over here, you have split. It tells you that you have like a little crosshair version of adding to the grid. You can do this vertically or horizontally. And once you click it, these do act as toggles. So if you want to stop seeing this line and you're like, why can't it? You have to untoggle it. Otherwise, it will continue to stay as a little grid following you around the entire time. You can change your grid if you want. You can go custom, click OK. You've got a massive, you know, dense grid. I want mine at default. But this next section you may be familiar with if you use Illustrator at all. Here are all our custom ways of distorting and warping in this case, our type, but it can be with any image. Let's say we want wave on this. Okay, well, that's all right. And then you have over here, these are just the guide options. You can set the color of your guides, change density for default and that sort of thing. Here you can manipulate both vertically or horizontally. You get to decide. Over here is how much you're affecting it, and you can go into the negative and, you know, really distort this out. You know, not bad, not bad. Let's see, maybe we'll do this. And then these will let you, let's zero this out so I can show you. Horizontal is kind of cool too, because if you want to do something like this from the distance and you just want to use your warps to do that instead of like a transform to do it, you can do that there. And the same thing if you want like, you know, I don't know, a Star Wars scroll or something like that, you can do that here as well. We don't want any of that. Let's say that we zero this out and then bend this. Let's see, go back to bend. And so, you know, let's say, okay, cool, that's cool. You press enter, or you can, I'll do this in the second wave. So maybe this is what we want. It doesn't look like on the smart object. A lot of times you'll see smart filter or smart, you know, whatever your manipulation is, but it doesn't look like you can get back to that. But if you go back to the warp zone, you hit your transform control or command T, and you go back to the warp zone, you're back where we started. We still have wave applied. I'm deciding maybe I don't want any of this. I just want to restart it. You can revert back to where we started. And then I want to come in here and choose flag instead of wave. And then I want to do something like this. And I think this looks better. I think that looks better for us. And you can press this, or you can press enter to accept the transform. And you can go back in and manipulate that every time, anytime. Going back to the warp zone will get you back where we started, or manipulate it in some other way. Okay, so looking pretty good here. I think I want to adjust the greetings a little bit over here. Maybe drag this up. I don't want the F to go off the top. Maybe we'll split the difference. Bring our greetings over, but then transform this a little bit to bring it down. Let's see, maybe we can make it even smaller. Something like Oh, maybe bigger. I don't know. There we go. Something like this. I do want it to some crossover. I like that better, I think. Press enter. Maybe we think this is, I want to give it maybe not a vignette, but I want to bump and boost some of these other areas. So I'm going to add a new layer, make it a clipping mask, and then convert this to multiply. Choose our brush, and then choose a blue that I like. Let's see, somewhere in here. And then we'll just start to kind of push some of these areas back. It'll let our greeting kind of show up. Maybe we want a little bit darker. It's just going to punch this up a little bit. And then speaking of punching it up, we can do that overall with an adjustment layer and make this a, let's see, let's go curves, click OK, and let's just bump it up, and then pull down some of the darks. It's really going to start to get that more of a vintage feel. But we're not done. I promised you guys postcards, plural. So let's see if we, with the remaining time, why do I do this? With the remaining time, let's see if we can get another postcard done with a remix edition of this. I'm going to put all of these into a group and call this OG. Make a copy of that group. I'm going to turn that off for now. Let's see. I want the copy to be remix. And let's just take our background. I'm going to press Control C. Double click into surf side, our smart object, paste. Now we have this in here. We want to take, I'm going to clip this to the side just like I did before. Same thing down here. Turn off the layer we don't need. I want to bring our fish. I want to, let's see, with V, I'm going to grab and bring our fish more into play down here so that we see a little bit more of them. Same thing here. Just a little more fish action, I think. And then I want to change the type. I want to change this to, we're no longer at surf side, we're at reef side. And let's see, let's close this out. Yes. Take this over to reef side. Okay, that's kind of cool in itself. You could definitely gray out this background if you wanted to. Could be pretty cool. But I want to, let's see, hide our background there. Bring this one into play. Not clipped. And we don't need that anymore. So we've really made a completely different postcard. I would probably take the shadow down a little bit, just so it's not so crazy. Definitely change our greeting to a different color, probably a dark blue, and maybe bump it just a little bit for clarity. Click OK. And I want to make this a little tilty, topsy-turvy, something a little more fun than just straight horizontal. So just scale this up, and I'm going to move this over like this, potentially. And then you could come in here, add our curves back to it. You know, two different things, looking pretty good, I think. But that is going to do it for today. I want to see where all of your postcards are going to come from. Please make these your own, come up with your own locations. I want to see what those look like over in the Discord at bit.ly/psdiscord. We had a rough moment there, but thanks everybody for hanging out with us and sticking with it. And stick around for all the live content that's coming up, and we hope to see you soon. Bye, everybody.